morning, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Today is our March morning TNC. So I'm just going to kind of go over the decks and different spiritual tools and things that I worked with for the month of March, the stuff that came forward for me, the stuff that I kind of enjoyed working with, and all that jazz. March has been a crazy month. I have a few decks to show, different things like that, but there's not a whole heck of a lot this month. March, like I said, was chaos. It was a hurricane of a month. We had an unexpected death in the family. Um, our furnace last week, our furnace broke down. So we've lived here for 4 years, and the furnace has been a constant battle the entire time we've lived here. So I mean, it was bound to happen, right? Totally. But it just came at a really inopportune moment. Thank you, Mercury retrograde, for that. But it was on its way out. So, I mean, Mercury finished it off and it was expected. I had a feeling it was going to happen. Um, so we went for 4 days without heat and almost five. And in the month of March in Canada, that's trouble. That's not fun. So it was really quite cold. And for those of you that don't know, I live in a 120-year-old decommissioned church, and I have vaulted ceilings in here, right? So when it comes to space heaters, you can put like 20 in and it doesn't really do anything, right? It did a little bit, but not a lot. So we were really cold. We were constantly battling pipes from freezing and having to crack taps and make sure they ran a little bit of water. The only problem with that is when you live in the building like this, eventually that water loses its pressure and then it stops coming out and then it will freeze anyways. So it's kind of one of those things. And then you're constantly walking around checking on the space heaters to make sure none of them are overheating or melting or burning anything down, right? So it was very much a battle of like cold and hot. So like water element and fire element. It was insane, which is kind of funny because we were literally going from the last decan of Pisces, which is water, into the first element of Aries, or first zodiac sign of Aries, which is fire. So it was like that battle of water and fire. It was insane here. So we got through it. It wasn't fun. Like I said, it was really cold. We slept for like 2, 3 days after the new furnace got put in because we were just so exhausted. But we're good. We're nice and toasty warm now, and we don't foresee any issues with a brand new furnace and AC. So here's hoping that it's going to be smooth sailing in that area moving forward. So we've only been here 4 years, and we're still trying to make this place be able to function during a disaster. So we're still trying to get it to where if we lose power that we don't lose heat and like heating and cooling. Like if we are facing certain things, right, environmental factors, whatever it may be, that we kind of have heating and cooling at least in place, a way to cook, a way to stay warm, a way to stay cool, like something, right? So we do have a great big huge generator, and now with the new furnace being put in, we're going to wire it so that it can be hooked up to our generator. So kind of no matter what comes at us, we'll either have heating and cooling, which is awesome. So that's a benefit, right? So it's just kind of like getting this place just being ready to take the elements. It's definitely been a battle. This place was not made to be a home. That's very clear. So there's a lot of things that needed to be corrected and worked with to make it a home. So it's just the long journey that we have ahead of us. I've reached my 500 and past now, which is awesome. Thank you so much for all my new subscribers. And for the people who've been following me this whole entire time, I super duper appreciate it. Thank you. So I can start looking at creating memberships now. And I'm going to be, I think, creating one of the tiers to be about this building and the church and the different things that we're doing and the different maybe construction or elements of like those type of things, like making it into a home and creating it into a safe space and all of that stuff. So I think one of the tiers are going to be that. I'm not 100% sure on that, but stay tuned because there'll be some membership stuff coming along as soon as I figure out what I'm doing. And that just came available to me. So I'm still thinking about it and pondering it and trying to figure out exactly what I want to do. The deck and walk is going. It just happened. We are in Aries 1. So that got going, which was excellent. The video that I posted, I literally filmed one day after we got the furnace installed, and I was so tired, but I all of a sudden got this like second wind, and I was just like, let's do this. And I poured my heart and soul into that video. Um, and just talked a lot about my passion and my love and what and how I see the cards, right? Like everything I do on these channels is how I see things, right? Or how I've connected with them, how I work with them. And the wonderful thing about oracles and tarot is they're all so individual, right? It's such an individualized practice. And what works for one person doesn't work for the other, or how somebody sees something isn't necessarily how the other person sees it. There is no right or wrong. There is systems obviously in place. Do you need to do those systems? No. You can just read intuitively and let all those systems go right out the window and it doesn't even matter. So that's the wonderful thing about oracles and tarot is they're very much such an individualized intuitive practice at the end of the day. um yeah, so let's get into it. Let's start looking at the different things that I have that I worked with March. Before I change the subject, before we go on and do something different, anybody who's looking to join a deck and walk or do a deck and walk, mine has just started. We are still in Aries 1, so there is more than enough time for you to jump on in and to join us. It's going to be a fun year, so hopefully we're able to stay on top of it and keep up on it. But like I said in the videos that I've done at this point, it's a very laid back practice, and I'm not going to be like crazy about it. Like if we miss a day, if we miss a decan by a day or two, it's okay. Life happens, right? We have to understand that. And tarot is meant to fit into our lives, not us put our lives around it, right? So that's always something to keep in mind. All right, let's look at what I have going on here. All right, so I put down my little board here because the cloth back here is really quite busy and a lot of the cards disappear into it and it's really hard to see the detail. So I pulled out my little board that I made here and from a very old cutting board that fell apart. All right, so the first deck I want to talk about is the Ritual Tarot. So this came in the end of January and it has made itself quite comfortable on my nightstand and it's been there since. I use this deck every single day. Every single night I do my readings with this one and have since it's shown up. So I'm now going on 2 months because we're in the end of March. So we're just going into April. It's been 2 months of straight use, and I'm thoroughly enjoying the way that this deck reads. It's very connected deep in with me. I've tried to put it away twice now and switch it out for a different one, and I can't do it. I'm really enjoying my time with it. The only other one that I've connected this deep with this year so far well, I shouldn't say this year because it came in October. That was the Solera Occulto. I really enjoyed that one as well too. But this one, I'm really liking this one a lot. And I was thinking the other day it would be really nice to get a backup copy of this deck. However, the hefty price point it carries, I just can't justify doing it right now. So I guess a backup copy will have to wait and I'll have to be really careful with this one. But I would love to have a backup copy available of this exact edition. Like I love, it's the marked back. I love it. The quality, the card size, the texture, everything is wonderful about it. And I'm really enjoying my time with it. So it's great, right? Yeah. So this one has definitely been dominating the scene. I thought when I first got it, I thought that it was maybe more of like a deep diving deck, like one that you would kind of get in and deep and dark and get into like the nitty gritty with, right? But which it can do. Don't get me wrong, it can do that. However, I'm having no problems doing my everyday 3 card pulls with it. So it is very capable of doing both of those things. It's capable of doing deep dives, but it's also capable of just handling the everyday to day. So that's why, like, I bonded so deep with it, and I'm just really enjoying it. It's been, it's become a staple in my personal practice, and I'm loving it. And like I said, I can't even put it away right now. I'm just enjoying it so much. Because of its hefty price point, if I did not connect with this deck, I would be very unhappy about that. But however, I've connected very deeply with this deck, so I'm okay with what I paid for it. I did get it on sale, but even with the sale, it was still more than I like to spend on a deck. But like I said, I've connected really deep with it, so I'm okay with what I had to pay to get it here. But I would tell you right now, it was a little unnerving at first. I was like, holy moly, that is a lot of money for a single deck. But it's proven its point and it's proven itself, and I'm enjoying it immensely. So we're good. It's just a great deck. The artwork is insane. I'm really enjoying the pictures. There's so much to take from the images, and there's just so much going on, and I every time I look at them, I see something different, and there's just something else that stands out to me, something else that comes forward. And because of that, I feel like I could spend months with this deck and still be learning its secrets and the things that it wants to talk about or highlight or say. So it's really cool. There's very specific cards in this deck that represent individuals in my family. And I've learned to read really deep with it and just really trust it, right? And really enjoy what it's saying and what it's bringing forward. And I feel like sometimes that really gets missed out on with decks because we're in this cycle of buying new decks and spending a little bit of time with them, and then buying another one and then spending a little bit of time with them. And because we're constantly switching and going from new deck to new deck to new deck, I feel like that bonding experience isn't happening the way that it should. And I feel like we tend to pass off this deck so fast to go to the next new one that we're missing out on what this deck can do and what it can bring forward. And not just this one in particular, like any deck, right? Because we're so fast to go to the next thing that we're kind of missing out on the details and the magic that these decks bring to the table. And they're all very individualized, right? Like I said, this deck, like there's very specific cards um that are specific family members in my life, right? People in my life. And when they come forward, I know that I'm going to be encountering them, or I'm going to be talking to them or seeing them, or something's going to be happening with them. So when that happens, like that's when like you've got quite a relationship and connection with this deck, right? And it's different for all of my decks. Like some of my decks have, like some of the cards that come forward are different, right? So I feel like you need to spend adequate time with these decks to really honestly learn their language and to connect in with them, right? So I feel like that's something that we kind of tend to miss out on nowadays because we're switching in and out between decks so fast, right? So this one is still a heavy user in my collection. It's not going anywhere. I should mention that the Ritual Tarot is by the lovely Tara May, and it is astounding. All right, the next deck that I've been using a lot is the Devas of Creation, or Devas, however you want to say it or pronounce it. This is by Scylla Conway. This is the only Scylla deck that I have right now. I do plan on getting more. I just haven't gotten there yet. Oh, look at the texture. Oh, so beautiful. This deck is amazing. I don't use it like a typical oracle at all. I do like my daily morning pulls with it. I just kind of pull like one card and spend a little bit of time reflecting on that and thinking about that and what Scylla's message is in her book. And I'm loving it. I've had this deck for a little bit now, and I've been working with it quite steadily. It's another one that when it showed up, like I don't put it away. It hasn't not gone away. It hasn't even gone into like a case or a bag or like anything. It just stays out and hangs out all over the place. I love it. I love its Gaia energy. I love how high vibrational it is, but yet grounding at the same time. So this is, like I said, I do like my morning pull with the Dewas of Creation, and then my evening pulls are with the Ritual Tarot. So that's kind of how my personal practice is right now. It's very simple, but it allows me to connect in and use cards multiple times throughout the day. So this one, like I said, I just pull a card and I just ask it, what's coming forward, what should I look at, what should I notice, pay attention to, like what energies are coming forward that day for me. And I pull a card and I read the lovely write up that Scylla has in the book. And I just wait and see how my day unfolds and how this energy is coming forward. And I connected better with this one than I did the one deck that I'm going to show later on when we get to it. This one I feel is very, like, you've got your Dewas in it, you've got your earth elements, you've got weather, you've got, oh, there's so much. There's cosmic energies. There's just so much going on in this. And like I said, it's a very beautiful, deep Gaia energy. And it's amazing. It has become one of my most favorite decks. And when this one comes out, I tend to be thinking of the Margaret Peterson too. So that's kind of, I don't know, it's like that artwork that comes out. This starts to call to me in around February. If I do put it away, it tends to come out in around February and it just hangs around. But like honestly, I don't even think I really put this away. I edged it in black, but it's already starting to chip and show its wear. I wish the cardstock was a little thicker, but that's just my opinion, right? But I do wish the cardstock was a little thicker. Now, speaking of daily polls, I have not done my daily poll yet because I just kind of went downstairs, hung out with my husband and my cats, and then came up here and started recording. So I haven't even done my daily poll. So I just sit and I just ask, what's my day going to bring? What should I pay attention to? What energies are coming forward? And I kind of wait for a card to jump out. And if it doesn't, then I just pick one. And it looks like I'm not going to get an energy to jump out. All right, so what should I pay attention to today? What should I be looking at? There we go. 2 cards. Okay, oh, 3 cards. I'm going to pick the bottom one because I feel like that one is where we are. And I don't like to look at multiples. Like, I find it can be a little confusing. Ooh, we got the insect one. Look how beautiful that is. All the little buggies and creatures. And that's 57. And I'm not going to read it. I'm just showing you guys the insect kingdom. And then I just read what it says and things to think about. And yeah. And then I just put it up onto like my little card holder that I have where I can see it throughout the day and just connect back into that energy whenever I concentrate on it or see it, and just remind myself what I'm supposed to be paying attention to or looking at and, working towards or avoiding. Some of these cards are about avoiding things, right? So yeah. So this one and the Ritual Tarot have just been dominating the scene. They're what has been in my hands day in and day out, and just have been my decks of choice for March, really. But we'll look at a couple more because there's a couple more I've got kicking around here. Another deck that came to me in March is the Seasons of Witch, the Imbolc Oracle. This was a birthday present for me. My birthday is in March, yes. I am a Pisces sun, but a Virgo moon. So I am a Pisces that's not really Pisces. I don't there's very little of me that encompasses the Pisces energy. I have tons of Virgo in me. Like if you looked at my birth chart, I have tons of Virgo. So I'm very much a Virgo personality. But yeah, so this one, it's so cute. I couldn't pass it up. And I'm glad that I got it as a birthday present because I was on the fence about getting it. I'm always on the fence about the Seasons of the Witches, and I don't know why. They're really cute and they're quite beautiful, but I just don't use them the way that I hope to or want to, I guess. But this one I am very drawn to, and it might just be because it's in bulk, right? And it kind of connects with my birth time, right? But I don't know. I think it's beautiful. I love the artwork. I have followed Tiana since the beginning, like before she did any of this. I've been following her for a really, really, really long time, and I really enjoy her artwork. And I like the folkness, the way she draws things, the way she thinks of these things, and it's amazing. But my like our in bulk time wasn't very in bulk. It was more spring. So it didn't feel right to use this deck. Like I didn't connect into the energy the way I should. So this one didn't really get used at all. I pulled one or two cards from it and then I kind of put it away because it didn't seem right. Except when our furnace broke. All of March was very spring like warm weather, right? And then we got a cold snap, my furnace broke, and then we were like winter for a week, and this made sense, but we were in the spring equinox, so it kind of didn't make sense. And now we're back to, I think tomorrow we're warming back up. So this one is probably just going to go away till next next winter for next in bulk time and late winter, and that'll be that. It's cute. I like it. I was drawn to it. Out of all the Seasons of the Witch, I feel like this one speaks to me kind of better than the rest of them. But I don't know. I have Yule, Mabon, Samhain, and Imbolc now. And I don't know if I'm going to get all the rest of them or not. I guess it just depends if they connect with me or not. But I feel like, I don't know, part of me is like I should because it makes sense too, right? But at the same time, I'm like, but I don't even use them as much as I should or would like to. So I don't really know. But for now, this one's going to be going away. And like, look at that blue edging. So beautiful. But for now, this one's going to go away until next season. And then maybe I'll work with it and decide what I want to do with it. But I do feel like the Seasons of the Witch that I have, I do enjoy them. So I don't necessarily feel like I'd be moving them on. Not yet, anyways. I don't know. They seem to be holding a good spot in my collection, so they can stay for right now. This time of year, my shadow work is coming to an end. I tend to do my shadow work January, February, March, and finish it and wrap it up by April. It's a quiet period and it works well for me if I'm, because sometimes I'm in a mood or, I've put a lot of thought into something or something's come to light that I'm not comfortable with. And, I need a little bit of like a quiet day, and the busy season around here does not give that to me. So I very much do my shadow work during the quiet period of my business. And it just allows me to really dive in and to really sink in. This is a wonderful shadow deck by Rebecca Schwarnecker, and I believe that's how you say her name. And it's called Shadow Speak. She's the creator of Left Eye Weeping Eye. Or sorry, Left Eye. That's TLC. There goes to show you my age. Okay, Laughing Eye, Weeping Eye. And she is wonderful. I talked to her and connected with her while I was waiting for this deck to get delivered, and she just has such a wonderful energy, and she is so kind, very very wonderful person, and her artwork is astounding. This deck is my go-to when it comes to shadow work. Like I have the Lantern Oracle and I have the Reclaim, but this one connects with me on a level that those other two don't. I find the Reclaim to be like the Reclaim shines a light on the shadow, but doesn't give you a way to work through the shadow or to implement the shadow or to be with the shadow, right? Where this does, this very much gives you a direct path on what the shadow is, how to implement that shadow or work through that shadow, and then how to, how to be happy and how to get to that end result that you're looking to get. So it's quite a system that she has in place with this deck, and it's just astounding. I thoroughly enjoy the artwork, the simplicity. Even though the artwork is simple, it says so much. There is so much going on in these cards, and it just brings forth like so much emotion. And it's an amazing system that she put in place. And I've done some good work with this one. And like I said, it is my go-to for shadow. If you're looking for a shadow deck, like a really good shadow deck, this is one that you would probably benefit from adding to your collection. I love it. The card stock too. I love the card stock. It is good card stock. But yeah, so what she does is I'll show you fast. On the back of the cards, there's these little eyes all up in the corner, right? So she has an entire system. Let me get one here. Let me see. One. Here's one. Here's one. All right. So she's got in these top corners, she's got all these little eyes that are happening, right? See them in these top corners? So that's the system that she has in place, right? And when you go in here, you look at them. Okay, so you have the darker eye is the shadow work. This is your shadow rest, and then this is your shadow sight. So the shadow work shows an eye in the darkness, the shadow rest shows an eye closed, and the shadow sight shows an open eye, right? So those are all the different things. And then she talks about like what each one of those mean and how they come forward and what, to expect from them. Like this one, just to give you a really fast rundown, it's a beautiful system that she has in place. Okay, so your shadow work is the new beginnings that you'll need to allow to come forward, the emotions. That is your shadow work that needs to take place, right? Then the resting eye is you're in the middle of the journey. It's about connecting to the quiet spaces in the shadows, right? And being okay with letting things just kind of hang out in balance. And then the next one, your shadow sight, is your resolution. how your journey is reaching the end, the conclusion, how it's going to come down, right? The clarity you found. And that's kind of how it goes. And the really cool part is you can do, she's got quite a few wonderful spreads in here. There's so much information in this book. It is an amazing guidebook. So she just has here, she's got a couple different spreads. I really like this spread. So let's look at them really fast. Let's do it really fast because I'll show you how it takes you on that journey, how it maps everything out. And this isn't for anything in particular, right? I'm just showing you guys. I'm just giving it a shuffle, quick little shuffle. Okay, and then we're just gonna throw down some cards. Let's throw down 5. Or let's do 4 because that's what fits on my table. So we've got our 4, right? So this is whatever spread you're doing. You follow her spread in there. And then when you have your spread, you've looked at it all, you've read what each card pertains to, the meanings behind them, how they connect into your work, the different things, right? You then can turn around and you can look at the backs of them. All right, so I've got 1 shadow work, 1 shadow rest, and 2 shadow sight. So all you do is then put them in that order, right? So this is my shadow. This is my shadow rest. And then these are my shadow sights. And so it's kind of like a map, right? It's kind of showing you. And it's showing you like this is where your shadow is, this is where you're at, and how you need to kind of relax and understand and take a break, right? And how you're in that pause. And then this is like the end result you're trying to get to. So it's really quite amazing. I love my cards that I have right here. This is awesome. They make me laugh. But it's a very powerful system. It's awesome. I love it. It's a great deck. So I'm wrapping up my time with this. This will now go away until I start doing shadow work again, or if I feel like I need to tap into something, right? Because I'm having an issue or something's happening or something's coming forward. Maybe I'm having a little bit of an emotional, problem going on that I need a little bit of guidance through, right? I tend to turn to this when I need to figure out what I'm thinking or how I'm feeling or how to move forward or what to do. Maybe I'm running into a situation where I don't know how to react, right? I'll tend to pull this deck out and sit down with it. So it has multiple purposes in my collection. However, it is a very strong shadow deck, right? But like I said, I do use it in different ways. So this has been the one that I've been kind of hanging out with for probably for the majority of February and March, right? So I've been spending about 2 months with this one. A lot of the decks that I'm showing you here, other than the in bulk and the next one I'm going to show, I've been spending a lot of time with them. Like honestly, it's been the Day Wells of Creation, this one, and then Ritual Tarot. That's been pretty much what I've been playing with, like all winter and half of winter long, right? So this is just a really good way to process and to digest your emotions or how you're feeling or what's coming forward. So it's definitely a good buy. So this last deck, the Wild Unknown Alchemy guide deck and guidebook, this was another birthday present for me. And like all of Kim Cran's books, like the minute you open them, you can't even see. They become wrinkled and like destroyed. There's a lot of really good information in this deck and in this book. It's a great guidebook. I really like her background story and just the different things that are in it. However, I did not connect with this deck the way that I was hoping to. And it might just be because I'm just not there with it yet, right? So like I'm not gonna badmouth it or say that it's going and I'm gonna get rid of it. That's not the case at all. It's just I have not connected with it the way that I was hoping to. I already edged it. The funny thing is like every single one I've showed you, I've edged pretty much other than the in bulk and the shadow speak. But it's just, I don't know. I just didn't connect to it It has hands in it again, which I did not know. And I've come to the conclusion that I don't like handsy decks. I don't like decks that have hands in them. I do not enjoy it. I do not know why, but I don't. It irritates me. And I have no reason why. I really don't have a reason why. And there's a lot of hands in this deck that I'm just like, ugh, like why? Why did you have to bring in the hand? But anyways, so I was hoping to connect in deeper with this deck and to use it kind of like the way I do the Devas of Creation, where I just pull one and kind of like see what the message that comes forward is. I do like a couple for spreads. A couple for spreads in this book are pretty fantastic. I find the octagon or hexagon shape to be kind of annoying. I don't really enjoy it as like I didn't think it was going to be a big deal, but I don't know. I don't really necessarily enjoy it. It's okay. It's not the end of the world, but it kind of makes it a little hard to work with, but you get used to it. Like once you get used to it, you're okay. You're good to go. Like but I don't know, I just didn't connect with this deck the way that I wanted to. And like I said, it might just simply not be the time. I wanted to connect into like the mineral world, the, elements, the colors, like the alchemical, the alchemy, you know, elements that it has. But I'm just not enjoying it the way I thought I would. And like I said, I think it's just I haven't had the opportunity to give it a lot of work yet, and that might be what it is. So I'll tell you right now, if you're a person that likes to keep your decks organized and straight, this is not for you, because I'm trying to like line them up, but you kind of can't. They go everywhere. So I don't know. I didn't connect with it the way that I wanted to. But in all honesty, the wild unknown that I have from her, it sat on my shelf for a long time too, and it took me forever to connect to. So it might just be me, and it might just be the energy that these decks put forward. It's like I need to get to a certain point in my life where they then make sense to me or connect in with me. So I mean, it's not one of those situations where I'm gonna like get rid of it or move it on or anything like that. I haven't connected with it the way that I wanted to, and I just haven't had the opportunity to. I spent a little bit of time working with it, like about a week, and I was just not feeling it. And I was like, okay, time for it to go away. So it might not be the alchemical deck for me. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe alchemy's not my thing. I don't know. But I'll spend some more time with it before I make any like final decisions on it. It does hold a pretty hefty price point for a mass market deck. I was kind of surprised by that, and I was like, man. But I think most of her decks kind of are a higher price point, to tell you the truth. So it is what it is. I'll spend some time with it and get to know it eventually, and then maybe I'll really be able to connect in deep with it. Maybe I won't. But I did already read the book. Like, I read through the book pretty good. I do like how she gives you these different things to tap into. And I do like that she gives you the keywords. Like, that's pretty cool too. I don't know. But I kind of sometimes have a hard time like looking at the cards and figuring out how they pertain to my life and the things that are happening in it at that moment in time. So that might be where that's coming from. I'm not sure. But sometimes I feel like it takes me a while to get into Kim Cran's stuff and to implement them into my practice and to really connect with them. So that might just be what I'm feeling, is just not there with it yet, right? All right, so that's kind of been what I've worked with and where I've been and what I've been doing for my March for the most part. Other than dodging catastrophes, this has been kind of where I'm at. Like I said, the Dewas of Creation, the Ritual Tarot, and the Shadow Speak have been the main focus of most of my February and March. My March 100% for sure. But they definitely did start to take over in February. Seasons of the Witch, like I said, I didn't really get the chance to work with it too much. And then the alchemy deck, I didn't bond with the way that I thought I was going to. But like I said, it might just not be its time yet. But yeah, so that's kind of the way that I went and where I've been at and what I've been doing. If you want to join into the deck and walk, you are more than welcome to. Subscribe, find me, follow me, watch the different videos that have already happened. We do not switch out to the next decan till the 31st, so there's still time to catch up and join in. We are only on the first decan, right? And yeah, thank you to, like I said at the beginning, thank you to all my new subscribers. Thank you to the subscribers that have been here since the beginning or have been with me for a while. I greatly appreciate it. And yeah, so hopefully you've enjoyed yourself. And like I always say, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.